Is going on, everybody? Another day. Much like yesterday, after work, I'm ready to blow some things up or make Batman go fishing. I'm not sure which one would be more therapeutic. Put the both together, perhaps. We'll see. Um, Again, Chasing Geekdom is the channel. Um, a little backstory. I cover comic conventions and geek theme races like the Star Wars half marathon, um, as well as theme parks and whatnot. Obviously, since I can't do any of that right now, here we are. So you can watch me very mediumly play Fortnite while we chat about the same things I would normally cover. Each one will have, each stream session, if you will have a chat topic. Today, we will be talking about Star Wars. What exactly, I'm not sure. And you might think, oh, I'm wearing a jacket because it's the thing that I'm going to talk about. But 9 times out of 10, you'll find me wearing something Star Wars related. I do kind of get my old umbrella more complete. I've been working on that today. As you can see, I don't do much fishing. I've caught 4 out of the 50 that I need to change the cannon color, because right now it's in the middle. This is more work, post-work therapy. Alright, so we'll do some fishing. And what's this one? Gain health from forged items. So like, oh, full rich. So that's like the little things growing out of the ground. I don't know if like those new things you find in the boxes will count. I'll try to remember that for like fishing and eating stuff. Yeah, let's jump in. Oh yeah, I was in Battle Lab earlier. There's something in the controls changed. So like when I tried to build, I looked like I had literally never played the game before. Not that much greater than I was when I first started, but enough to not look like a total. Alright, let's hop in. Yeah, Star Wars, right? When I think about it, lately I've been thinking about kind of the legacy. Yeah, there was the disappointment for me, and many of the prequels and all. It's like Lucas losing his touch just a tad. Um, but when I think about like Dave Filoni, he really has kind of chosen the right Padawan, if you will. Filoni is a guy that I can listen to talk about Star Wars for days. Like I've always loved it. You know, when I was at Star Wars Celebration in Orlando in 2017, it was like one of the first big conventions I got a press pass for, which was cool. And somehow ended up getting into um, an invite to the Star Wars Rebels like press conference, which I was just like, oh yeah, I feel like I've arrived. And I didn't really know who Dave Filoni was at the time. And he just started going on about Star Wars, and it was through him and like in there and some other panels where I'm like, I thought I was a fan of Star Wars. And for decades. I mean, I was, but like, then you listen to him talk, and it's like, okay, maybe I wasn't. Maybe I don't count, because that dude he's just such a pure love for the lore. Kind of what I imagine like George had back in the day when he kind of first came on the scene and invented the whole universe. I would imagine though, like after a certain amount of time, you kind of get like over it, not super bored or anything. I'm sure he's proud, but I'm like, I bet somewhere in his tank there's some like other thing that he'd want to create. Money he has, I bet he could have by now. I didn't know. Yeah, I'm going fishing and foraging. So yeah, if you're one of the two people that show up, hello mom, and Leland, and have anything to say as far as like want to talk about Star Wars wise, just let me know. I fully expect most of this just to be discovered after the fact, which is fine. Even just mentioning Filoni, his love for Star Wars has improved my mood considerably. To mention that juice that I'm having there. I think I got this jacket for that Star Wars celebration. It's one thing I noticed about, Star Wars fandom. The online version of it is, it's super toxic. It's usually just like the very vocal minority that kind of spoil it online. Oh, I hate this, and this was this is the only Star Wars that's good. Again, I mean, I was slightly, somewhat disappointed with the prequels, but just because it's just very different from what I expected, because it was, oh cool, we're gonna get a Darth Vader origin story. Yeah, I just didn't expect it to come out looking like it did. There were moments that were amazing. Yeah. But anyways, yeah, and then some people get turned off by the Star Wars fandom because they only experience it on Twitter. It's like, yeah, they don't really count. Because there's just the turds that the very vocal minority of Star Wars fans. I don't even know if I can call them fans. So just so. But then I went to Star Wars Celebration. This is awesome because it's just everyone's super positive and supportive of each other, especially in the cosplay community. And podcasters, everything. It's great. What do I forage? Is that foraging? Is that foraging? That foraging. Does it count? Can't tell if it counts. Okay. Maybe it does. Maybe it has to come out of the ground. I have to pull it up out by the roots. Still beneficial. Corn. Oh, it's alright. Alright. Right here somewhere. Where's that water? Speaking of Filoni, too, I'm stoked that he was involved with The Mandalorian. That show's great. It was gonna be. I thought it was gonna be darker than it is, but still, it's really good. Very much enjoyed. Spoilers if you haven't seen it. You know what? By now, you don't deserve to get upset about spoilers. So when the jetpacks showed up, they didn't just come out with one. No, they were all over the sky, saving the day. That was great. But yeah, having him as part of that, not only as a director, I think he's a producer on that as well. Because Jon Favreau's no fool. He knows talent and the different aspects of storytelling. So he knows that he's got to have someone like Filoni there to kind of keep them grounded, and you can see his touch as well with like the creatures and that kind of stuff because you watch Rebels, which I didn't until I went to that Star Wars celebration. Um, he brings in that mythology of different creatures and stuff, which is pretty neat. Yeah, good. I got it. Alright, folks. Let's get out of here. Yeah, helicopters bore me. They're useful if you're like stuck somewhere and you gotta bail, but the best experience I had on one was the first time I really like they showed up playing duos with the goddaughter, and there was this real get in the chopper moment when she hopped in and just sat there, like I could tell she was waiting for me to get it, like hop on the side. I was like, dude, this 11-year-old is flying me around on the chopper. I literally giggled for like 10 minutes. That was funny. I would imagine these kinds of things are going to be full interactive once those cars show up. Right here. I haven't seen anyone. He says right before he gets shot while he's looking at the map. Let's go over there. Yeah, Mandalorian, man. IG-11. Okay, this is a weird thing though. It got nominated. It's a good show, don't get me wrong. It got nominated for an Emmy, right? Is that the one that just came out? Emmy Award nominations? For Outstanding Drama. Maybe it's just that I'm not used to, and that's not a comedy thing, but maybe I'm just not used to seeing that genre. I said it's the first live-action Star Wars TV show, but you know that there's a little campaigning going on there. But they really need to bring like a whale in instead of just sharks. Sea creatures when Aquaman's gonna be more prominent or whatever. Atlantis. Okay. Equal to fight, please. If I were someone who's a way better shot than I am, where could I be? Yeah, so like seeing them up against, I think what stood out with that nomination was just that seeing it up against The Handmaid's Tale. Yeah, no. Again, I love it. It's a very enjoyable show, but it's slightly out of its depth with a competition like that. In my opinion. Even if you're not into that show or Star Wars or anything, you should watch the behind the scenes series on that show, especially this one episode. Okay, everybody, where the heck? Alright, where do I want to go? Anywhere. Oh yeah, I have to go fishing, don't I? But I don't. Anyway, there's an episode called The Volume on that Disney Plus series about the show. And fun story, it ties into this very game that I'm playing right now. They used the game engine that's used in the game, this game, I believe, because you see Epic Games and then something like on a logo in the background of this thing called The Volume, where they shot a lot of that show, The Mandalorian. And a lot of the stuff that you think was shot outside, nope. And it's this, it's not green screen, so they're actually like, it's gonna be really hard to explain. Well, I guess not. I mean, if you're, where are you? There you are, what you got? Oh, we have some good stuff. Okay. Let's get that. I would actually go through this, and I need some help. So they have this like. Let's see if I can help. So you go in and there's this like environment. This room, if you will, it's like all around 360 degrees over your head, all around. It's like this smooth surface, and they project an environment on it. And the camera is actually tied to it. So as the camera moves, the image that's on it kind of bends and stuff, if you will, so that whatever. Sorry. Oh! He had the right weapon right there. That was cool. Nice shot. Oh, I missed his name. Good job, whoever you are. So, like, as the camera moves around, like the image moves, changes just enough so that whatever is on camera, it looks like they're in their environment. It's crazy. It's hard to explain. You need to watch it. The great thing about it is that since it's not green screen and it's all captured in camera, the environment, something like the Mandalorian's helmet that he's wearing, all of those reflections, all of the light, all of the stuff coming off of everyone is real and usable. So instead of like, oh, it's a green screen and they're going to throw something up behind after, then they have to fake as well on whatever light and stuff is coming on to the helmet and causing, reflections, all that kind of stuff. But like in the moment, it's all just there. So like that scene when they're in that boat and like that lava river, that was in the void as well. And so they're just stationary, and it's just like moving the image all around and over and all that kind of stuff. And Carl Weathers pointed out that because of this, the reference point for all the actors, if say they're looking at something that's being projected, right? Their reference point, their eye line, everything is the same, so they're all in sync as well, which is kind of, and they're using this same game engine. So like as you move around, same the point of view, so we can just pretend that like the camera, looking at the back of that man's head here is like the cameraman, and so everything would change like this. This is just amazing. And since it's probably expensive to like invent that technology and all that, but obviously over time all of this technology ends up being not simplified but perfected, and then becomes more accessible to everyone. And since locations are usually typically the most expensive thing in any production, it's going to make storytelling more accessible to everyone and cheaper, which is awesome because we need to get more stories from more people, rather than just from those who can, afford it. Yeah. So it was kind of cool seeing Jon Favreau's trajectory and experience with all this, because you could tell he wants to move that stuff forward for those reasons, to make it more accessible to everyone. And because he learned, I guess he took what he learned on one thing and then he moved it to the next. It was like what the order of it was. Because I didn't see these films, Lion King, when he did. He even mentions Zathura, which I did actually love, which was almost like Jumanji in space. And with each one of these films that he did, he learned something else that moved it even further, and then kind of like they got to the volume for The Mandalorian, and it's like, that's just amazing, because the implications that it has for storytellers around the world of, all resource levels, if you will. It means a lot. Where am I? I don't want to go that way again. I do need to go fishing. Alright, let's do this guy. They brought, you'll see, I think in that series they show it, George Lucas on set. Kind of like the godfather of it all, He didn't look disinterested. Maybe he did. I mean, honestly, I probably would be by now too, with the same. It's been how long since he created that universe, and it's just like, he just probably wants to go golfing, I know they all revere him and all, so we should be grateful, I guess, for what he created, but I'm so glad he's there, though. You could tell that, like, Mandalorian behind the scenes series was Favreau's idea. I don't know if you guys are familiar with his, like, early films, Swingers and Maid, and around that time he had a series called Dinner for Five. I think that's what it was. I'm pretty sure. Where he would grab, like, 4 other filmmakers and just sit around and talk about the craft. And it's very much like the format that you see in that Mandalorian behind the scenes show. He's probably like, yeah, let's Dinner for Five, this thing. Which I'm glad he did. But you could tell that, like, I bet there's a lot of behind the scenes of Dave Filoni talking, because, like, he just has a lot to say, and most of the people there, like the directors and stuff from that first season, you can tell that they're, like, listening to him, like, having the same reaction, as most of us do here, and they're just like, yeah, I'm terrible at being a Star Wars fan, please teach me. Firstly, let's see if I see any marauders. I kind of like that little lake area. Let's go there. So if you ever get a chance to watch a panel like Star Wars Rebels or anything that Dave Filoni is involved in, just talking about stuff, it's cool to see someone passionate in that way, really, about anything, any story, but particularly one that you are invested in as well. Probably should mention IG-88. Well, IG-11, right? It was 11 that Taika ended up playing in the Mandalorian series. That was my favorite. I don't even know if it's second to the child or not. Like it's awesome. I got a new glider. Ooh, actually, I was looking forward to that one. There wasn't much left in that battle pass rewards that I was like stoked about, but I think I might change to that one from the Millennium Falcon. Millennium Falcon kind of gets in the way. It's so big. Get caught without ammo like I did yesterday. It's a shame. I'm trying to remember like what series were due, or movies or whatever, but like at this point, it's hard to think about just because everything has been backburnered. Honestly, I know a lot of people were excited about Obi-Wan, but I have a confession. He is the most boring, for me, character in the Star Wars universe. I don't understand the appeal. I get it as a part in this story, because you've got to have the even keel, you've got to have someone like that legit Jedi in the middle of the whole Jedi like ness. But the Jedi by nature are kind of drab when they're in their heyday, aside from when they're fighting or whatever, but like that wasn't even the point. They're supposed to be even keeled and not emotionless, but like have it together emotionally and not get wrapped up in emotion one way or another. And that's, I mean, as far as storytelling is concerned, that's not very interesting. And because you're bouncing situations off of these characters and they're like, cool, you know, I'm not going to get upset about that. I'm not going to get worried about that. I'm not going to. Do they get horny? I don't know. But I don't know. And they're brown as far as like the earth tone clothes and stuff. And so they're so like oh, Cap Shia, and it's like whatever. And then I guess Mace Windu did have an amazing lightsaber, so purple. So I guess maybe that's where like one color comes in. I don't know, but beige. But it just So a series, they would have to take him in some direction where he's emotionally wrecked or whatever, and it just seems like that would go against type. So that series or whatever it was supposed to be, not really very interested. I know a lot of people will be, so that's cool. Like I said, it's all gravy, but I like stuff like characters like the Mandalorian they've been through it, somewhat morally ambiguous. I would say I would be looking forward to a Darth Maul series, but it, yeah, maybe if they do it with Sam Witwer. Is that his name? The one who did the voice of him in Rebels. Don't, if you don't, if you, should I have brought it up? If you like interneting things, go right ahead. But I guess I wouldn't mind it if like they did a series and then just use someone else live action. But I don't know if that Sam dude is. I mean, he looks like he's fit and all, but like Ray Park is got those martial arts chops and such, but I kind of dug that whole Crimson Dawn storyline that they like hinted at the end of Solo. I didn't know until, was it Rebels? Clone Wars? Way after the fact that Maul didn't die. Spoilers and stuff. He got cut in half, but like he's like a half man now or whatever. I really liked where they went with his character in Rebels, though. He was cool. I suppose this is as good a place as any. That's a sniper rifle, right? Oh, there's a guy. Don't stand still, buddy. I laugh, but hey, what's in there? Oh, I don't want that either. Let's see where this map's going. Dang it. Reversing it. Let's go fight. Never good at knowing where footsteps are coming from. This catches me off guard. Where are you, buddy? He's gonna shoot me from behind, I know it. Oh, there you are. Got his hackles up. There you are. Ah. Oh, Shark, you just get your head out of here. Just trying to mess that up too much. Alright, let's get I'm shooting from over there. Oh. Where are you shooting from, buddy? Ah, there you are. Six of us. This way. This way. Ah! Oh, I could not see a thing. That was fun. Four left. I don't even know what I was talking about. Darth Maul. Yeah. Yeah, don't go interneting right now. Take that. Alright, where are these folks? Aha. I don't know, what do you think? It's worth a shot. Bring him out. Where are you, buddy? Hmm. I see you. Mm-hmm. Terrible shot with this. What in the world is that? I need to be a better shot. Ah, that stupid tree. Yeah, move around. Stop. We're both bad. That's good. Ah, let's take a picture, shall we? Oof. Well, we were evenly matched terrible shots with the sniper rifle. So that was. Usually I like to quit while I'm ahead, but I'm still in the mood to play. So yeah, Star Wars. First race that I ever ran. When I got into running, it was like I lost a bunch of weight hiking first, and then I thought, oh, maybe I'll get into like running short distances. And then I saw the Star Wars 10K at Disneyland. It was going to be the inaugural Star Wars half marathon weekend at the resort. And I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to pull off a half marathon, but you know, I could do a 10K. And that was, oops, this model, the Stormtrooper. And then you go around that way. That's 15, 16, 17, 19 on there. Celebratory dance for that. They usually do a virtual Star Wars half marathon like every summer. I think they did this year, but I was going to be at the live event, so I'm like, eh. And then it got canceled and I hadn't registered, so like I'm out that medal this year. That's But then I ended up running my first in-person like race half marathon. I did, when you train, you actually run them obviously, so you don't like die when you get out there. Was the Star Wars half in 2016, which is on there somewhere, but I don't want to dig it out. It sounds like very loud, annoying wind chimes when I rummage through the pile of metals. That was awesome. As you're running through, they had, First Order Stormtroopers in the park. As you're running through, they had Captain Phasma, there, not exactly cheering you on. My brother was there. He came out and ran it with me. My friend Chris came out as well. Both finished before me, obviously. My goal was to come in under 2:20, 2 hours and 20 minutes. I think I was like 2:25, and still had gas left in the tank. So I wanted the recovery time to be shorter because we were going to be walking around the parks and stuff. But I accomplished that. No blisters or whatever. Back then, I was living in Southern California, so it's pretty easy to train long distances because the weather's pretty mild. It gets hot and stuff, but not super hot, not super humid. You could easily find hours and hours in the morning where it's tolerable to go run long distances. Not so much out here. And so I run Huntington Beach. You can get 8, 9, 10, 11 miles in, no problem. So all those beaches are kind of strung together by one path. Plus there's the Santa Ana River Trail that leads into it. You can take that forever. I think that goes all the way back to Anaheim and all that stuff. So it goes inland quite a ways. Lighthouse. Yeah. But Red Disney bailed on Anaheim. It wasn't their fault, I don't believe. Disneyland and the city of Anaheim have always had a bit of a contentious relationship. And it's always kind of at the whim of whoever's on there, like city council. So I think they announced some construction of a hotel or something, and then that became a thing, and then they started building Star Wars Land. What's the actual term for that land? It's like Galaxy's Edge? Yes, there we go. And so with all that construction in Anaheim, kind of you get choked out as far as there's a lot of the races run through the streets of Anaheim. You can really only contain a full 5K within the parks, really. Even the 10K goes out to city streets and stuff. But whatever the combination of things were, they ended up having to just stop doing Run Disney races in California, and then they all moved to Walt Disney World. But it's not like they duplicated, or added, because they had a there was an Avengers one that I didn't get to run. I wish I could. And then they ended up not creating those out in Walt Disney World. They just kept doing the ones that they were already doing. The best part of that Star Wars one, though, is they not even in the parks. You're running through the streets of Anaheim, and then there was this huge group of 501st, and if you're not familiar, the 501st is a huge cosplay group. They're more than that though. Like they do a lot of charity. Uh, Bad guys doing good is kind of their thing. And there were probably 100 of them easily. Star Wars, it was like the 501st, and there were like other groups as well. What's the one group called? The Jedi. I can't remember. But they were all lined up cheering you on for like had to have been a mile. That was better than anything in the parks. That was cool. Yeah, man. Where's that? Yeah. All right. Let's go find some people to fight. I gave up on that fishing thing, didn't I? I'll have to remember to take care of all of that before the season is done, so I can have my cool umbrella. If we get to keep it, I would imagine we get to keep it going into future seasons. So I just got to make sure. I think the canopy color is the one that I'm concerned about the most. Concerned. It's too quiet. Let's see what's going on. I was thinking about doing for the canceled half marathon weekend, Star Wars one in Orlando back in April. I was thinking about doing the half. So I was like, okay, cool. I'll suck it up and do the training out here where it's super humid to like get the half marathon medal. And then I saw it. It was ugly. Like the last couple years. What's that noise? The finisher medals for the ones out there in Orlando. Design was just weird. Like, because they had characters. I don't know. It was like, I thought, well, I don't want to go to all that effort to like get a finisher medal that is ugly. But I dug 10. Okay. But I'm not gonna get it because they canceled it. It's a virus. Which makes sense. I mean, Florida is kind of wrecked. Currently. Alright. Let's go fight some people. I think I remember hearing that Taika is going to have his own Star Wars film. That would be something to be excited about for me. I don't know what it's going to be. I would imagine he could make an Obi-Wan that I would be interested in. I love Jojo Rabbit. That movie was awesome. bullets. Hmm. Everybody's probably over Sweaty Sands or whatever that's called. I haven't been over there since the map changed. I'm curious. Let's go peep it. It's funny, like my favorite, you know, like what I would consider the best Star Wars film to come out in a long time would be Rogue One, but it's not the most watchable, and I love it, but it's just so depressing. I guess if you like, because you're like, I see dead people, you know, spoilers and stuff, but I guess you could do that trick where it's like you just watch it up until, and then just imagine like, oh, they probably got away, and Cassian, and oh, that show hopefully that they're gonna make about him. That that would be amazing. I'm interested in that. He was a great character. He was. I liked Jenner, so she was cool. What the heck is all of you? Thought we had a fight going on right here. Name that movie and we'll be friends. He says it as he's putting gum in his mouth. We had a fight going on right here. Scott Pilgrim. Oh, that gun. I don't care about that gun. Let's see if I can find anyone with this guy. Yeah. Reload guy. Never use it. Oh, my favorite gun. Alright. So, Taika Star Wars movie. Yes, please. Cassian show. Yes, please. What else? More Mandalorian, obviously. I don't honestly need Boba Fett to be brought into this whole thing. I don't know, it seems cheap, but I wouldn't mind just relying on the original characters that they're creating. I really liked that episode when the Mandalorian, when they were going to rescue that dude, that ship. It was like, stupid marauders. Is it only one? Nope. Shoot. If you're not familiar, you see the exclamation points to the right and the left. Those are non-player characters called Marauders. And it's really supremely annoying to to be eliminated from a match against other players by a non-player character with a very obscurely weird unknown agenda. Like, I hope they bring in their story and like explain why the heck they're so bent out of shape. If you come across them in the game, don't engage them if you don't have to. Just use up all your resources in your life instead of a reason someone goes on here. Cool. See me. I had one run through a bush like 5 or 6 times that I was in. Nearly ran into me, didn't see me. Is that a player or is that a student? Oh, there's only 2 of us left. That's him. Too cool. Oh, that's fine now. Oh, there you are. Let's see. I really wish I had a sniper rifle right now. There you are. Shooting someone who can't see me. Ah, he's a better shot. Good job, buddy. Alright, well, that is it for me today. Whew. At least I got my 1 win, and that was the first of this whole streaming experiment. Yeah, I'm gonna exit that. That's cool. Yeah.